Okay, as an Englishman, I'm going to have to do a video about England because they got through. Yeah, to the latter stages. And everyone's talking about the fact that we don't have a right back now because Tuchel took a massive risk in not bringing Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah. Tuchel was employed to get us to win. We had a manager already that could get us to a final, but couldn't get us to win. He wasn't brave enough in those moments to make decisions to help us to go from being in the final to actually winning. So they brought in Tuchel to do that. Well, Tuchel has chosen players that he believes that can actually get us to win. But the problem is he's left at home most of the technically gifted players. He's brought with him the ones with pace, but the ones with better technique, he's left them home. Because actually, this last year has been a bad year for those who are technically gifted. Even Bellingham was out for most of it. Like Bellingham is about the only player that Tuchel has brought who is technically gifted, who is just a natural. Yeah, that when you see him, you go, oof, beautiful, lovely pass, lovely bit of control, fantastic. You're unlikely to see any of that from Rashford, Saka, Madwaki, or Eze, or any of the rest. They haven't got it. It's not their game. They're not technically beautiful. Yeah, as in technically gifted. They're not technically beautiful. Foden, Palmer, Wan-Bissaka, not Wan-Bissaka, Trent Alexander are technically gifted. Trent Alexander, with regards to what were we missing against, was it Panama we played last game? The crossing was absolutely woeful. Anyone to actually put the ball in, to put a lovely ball in, no, that's what Trent does. That's what Foden does. That's what Palmer does. That's their job to do that. He didn't bring them. He didn't bring any of the players whose job it is to do to put a beautiful ball. So if you're trying to unlock a defence that's 10 men, you need to have someone who can play that lovely ball. He didn't bring them. He brought Bellingham, who's the only one who can actually do that of the players he brought. The rest of them, it's not their game. And so now, of course, it was high risk bringing the right backs that he brought. Reece has been injured for most of the last 2 seasons. A few years ago, they were linking Reece James with Man United. And as a United fan, I was saying, no, thank you. The man gets injured far more than Shaw. We've already got Shaw, who's an injury risk, who's basically sick note. And do we really want to bring another sick note in? We've had Phil Jones, who was sick note. We've got, who is it now? It's not Varane. Varane left. It's whoever the. Who is the? I don't know. I don't know who it is now. Who's the other centre back? Unless it is Varane, but I think Varane left, didn't he? Martinez had been injured for most of it. Oh, the Dutch one. The Dutch one. I forgot his name because most of the time he's been out. We haven't really seen him play that much. And so therefore, again, do we need another player who's injured risk? No. That's the point with Reece James. He's injured all the time. Injured. He gets injured, more often than people get curries. And people get curries quite a lot in England. Yeah. But he gets injured far more often. You can't rely upon a player who's like that, who's only just come back from an injury with regards to his, season. But there you go. And I think Livramento was the other one, and he got injured. But he's been injured a lot as well. He's been quite an injury risk player. And so, but again, Trent has been poor this season. Foden's been poor. Palmer's been poor. I say Bellingham has been injured most of the season. So for those who are technically gifted English, they've not had a great season. They've not really given the manager much reason to pick them. But neither is Madawaki, because Madawaki has been basically the player in the order where he's behind Saka at Arsenal. So he's not really a starting player. He's behind Saka. The thing of it is that what Tuchel wanted was players with pace. Someone who, that when we're playing a team like Spain or France or Brazil or Argentina or Portugal or any of those teams that are going to come out of Germany, yeah, they're going to leave space to run into. And so therefore, that's where you need a Saka, a Madawaki, a Rashford, a Gordon, an Eze. That's where you need those sort of players, because that's where they do well. And when you play against those bigger teams, so when you get to the finals, you're going to have space left behind to exploit. Well, if you've got technical players that aren't very fast, you can't really do that. Because, generally speaking, it wasn't Foden's game. It wasn't Palmer's game to pound the left or the right. Southgate tried to push them into those positions to get them in, so you could have Foden, Palmer, and Bellingham all playing. Well, they didn't have to all play. You could just bring them. Because you look at the players that have been brought. There's so many players that have been brought that that he's not going to play them. He's not. I think Ivan Toney's been brought just in case we get to a point where we have penalties. So if we get to a situation where it's late on in a semi-final or something like that, and it's 0-0 or 1-1, and it looks like it's going to go to penalties, and we've got one more player we can bring on. Here, bring on Ivan Toney. Why? Because Ivan Toney is white hot with regards to penalties. He's known to be a fantastic penalty taker, right? But you've used a space that could help us. But again, he's been brought in to help us to go from that point of final to win. To actually, to get over that last hurdle. And he's picked the players that he thinks. So Tony's in there in case we get finals. Why? Because we've fouled at that point when it comes to penalties. So bring in another player who's very good at penalties. I don't know about the other players who are picked as whether any of those are good at penalties. Kane is. Bellingham will be. Rice will be. I imagine Anderson will be. Well, again, players who are confident in their own ability, they will be. So, The thing of it is, the wingmen. Do I think we've got any wingmen that have got any true ability? See, for me, if we had Trent, I would have taken Trent instead of Madawaki. Because with Trent, if Trent was on the right wing rather than right defence, the quality of crosses coming in are going to be really good. Because that's what he's known for. He's very good at that. But the problem is, the players we've got, they're not. They're not. Gary Neville was saying it. He pointed something out that was quite interesting. He said the problem is players like Madawaki and Rashford and the others, they run so fast that the problem is when it comes to actually being able to cross the ball in and knowing when to cross it, where to cross it, and where to put your foot on the ball, they're running too fast to be able to really do that. Then they're not the right player. Right? Then they can't be, because to me, it makes no sense. Now, hopefully, we'll see. Tuchel could prove us all wrong with regards to that. But I look at that and go, why would you bring a player who can, yes, they can get to the byline, but then what they do is they're kicking out most of the time. They don't actually do anything of any use with it. The ball in is going to be, There's no. This is supposed to be the best of the best, and we're bringing Madawaki. Madawaki is the player that Chelsea didn't want and Arsenal brought as a backup to Saka. And he was starting for England. That is insane. That is madness. He shouldn't be starting for England. He really shouldn't be. But yeah, okay. Here's what it is. Here's what it is, isn't it? You know, we are where we are now with regards to that. The players are picked. That's the reality. The players are picked. We just have to see, because the problem is now for Tuchel, he has to get to the final. It's all very well doing the rest, but you've got to get to the final now. That's hard work. There's your problem. You've got to get there. And with the players he's picked, it's going to be far more difficult to get there. Yeah. That's the reality. But there you go. So, again, in the game against Parma, for me, I look at England and I see the same problem that I do with Man United and the same problem I do with other teams. Same problem I saw with Arsenal, and the reason why Arsenal lost the Champions League final. If you're playing against a team and you can't raise your game, you can't, because you're not used to doing that. Like with Arsenal, if Arsenal are winning 1-0, they will sit back. They don't go for the second or third. They sit back. And with England, when they play against a team with low block, they tend to struggle. They don't tend to raise their game. The players are not able during the game to figure out, well, hold it. We're moving the ball slowly. They're coping with this. Let's try something different. They're not able to figure that out while they're playing. Well, okay, if they can't do that, how are they going to figure out if we're not doing well against France or Spain? Because in the past, they've never been able to do that. In the past, because they were drawing against teams like Panama, because they were struggling against teams like Ghana, who had a low block, when they come against a team that was good, when they started to struggle, they couldn't figure it out because they never could early on. Now, it doesn't matter if the problem is the same. The point of it is, can the players on the pitch figure it out? Are they relying too heavily on the manager at half time doing something? It shouldn't be that. As players on the pitch, you should be good enough to be able to figure it out on the pitch. You should be good enough so that when it's a throw-in or whatever, you can have a chat to your teammate and say, right, let's speed it up. Yeah, we're too slow with our attacking. Let's speed it up. Let's move the ball a lot quicker. But obviously, they weren't doing that. Same as they weren't figuring it out when Southgate was the manager. You've got to have players who can figure it out. You've got to have players, forget technical ability, forget pace. You've got to have players who have football intelligence. If they don't have football intelligence, they don't come. They don't get invited. Invite those with football intelligence. The ones who you know are looking at the game and figuring out, if we just do that instead, that's what you need on the pitch. There are such players. Of course there are. They're the players who are like the captains. But the point of it is you're going to have the likes of Rice and Kane and Gahey and Anderson to be able to figure that out, to be able to see the game, because from their position, they can see it. They can see what's going on. They've got to understand what needs to be done. It shouldn't be a case they're waiting for the hydration break from the manager to scream and shout at them, because on the bench, he's been losing his bloody mind because of the way they've been playing. They should be able to look at him, go, oh, okay, he's not happy. Why is he not happy? Because we're too slow. Right, let's speed up then. They should be able to do that. If they're supposed to be the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, they should be able to do that, shouldn't they? Really. But they don't. And because they don't, they're not good enough. I don't think we're going to win until we've got players who can do that. I think we have got English players who can do that. It's just about picking them, and I'm not sure he has. But we'll find out. Certainly against Ghana, it wasn't shown that he had. And against Panama, for most of the game, it wasn't shown that he had. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see how the tournament moves on and see if the players start to figure out during the game what they should be doing. Because it has to be up to them while they're playing. Yeah. Well, it's like if you've got a factory of workers and you're going to keep on going to tell the factory of workers what to do because they're not thinking for themselves. They're not able to work out. If they've got a problem and things aren't quite working, they're not able to figure out what the problem is and fix it. They've got to keep coming to you. Yeah, no. The factory closes down all the time, doesn't it? That's no good. So you take care anyway. Take care. Bye-bye.